She was the beautiful spell-casting Samantha Stephens on Bewitched, charming millions with a twitch of her nose. But behind the scenes, Elizabeth Montgomery's life was far from magical, and filled with heartbreak, betrayal, and pain. Born into a veritable Hollywood royalty in 1933, Elizabeth was the daughter of actor Robert Montgomery. But her childhood wasn't the fairy tale you might expect. Her father, Robert Montgomery, was a legendary actor, a matinee idol of his time. Her mother, Elizabeth Allen, was a prominent and well-regarded socialite. Theirs was a world of privilege, a life of comfort and ease. But it was also a world of pressure, with expectations running high. Young Elizabeth, bright and beautiful, possessed a natural charm. She felt the weight of expectations, the burden of a famous name. Growing up, Elizabeth attended prestigious schools, receiving the finest education. She excelled in theater, her natural talent shining through with every performance. Her parents, though loving and supportive, cast long shadows over her aspirations. Their success was a hard act to follow, a high bar to clear. Yet, Elizabeth possessed a spark, an inner fire, a determination to forge her own path, to make a name for herself. She was drawn to the stage, captivated by its allure, to the magic of storytelling, to the power of performance. The world saw a poised young woman, confident and graceful, but Elizabeth harbored insecurities, hidden beneath the surface. Her relationship with her father was cold and distant, and while the cameras loved her, home didn't always feel so warm. She craved approval from her family, especially her father, yet yearned for independence, to break free from expectations. Her early life, a tapestry woven with privilege and pressure, shaped her destiny, shaped her into a complex, ambitious woman, ready to take on the world. Little did anyone know, this Hollywood princess would soon captivate the world with her talent. With a twitch of her nose, she would change television forever, and a twinkle in her eye, she would win the hearts of millions. The early 1960s, a time of great change, cultural shifts, and the burgeoning power of a new medium. Television was king. Families gathered around their sets every night, captivated by stories and characters that filled their living rooms. It was an era where a single show could define a generation. Elizabeth, after years of honing her craft, paying her dues in the theater and on live television, was poised for a breakthrough. She possessed a unique blend of talent, beauty, and determination. Landed the role of Samantha Stephens in Bewitched, a role that would forever change her life and cement her place in television history. A whimsical sitcom about a witch who marries a mortal man. A premise that was both charming and slightly subversive for its time. It was a story about acceptance, love, and the magic that can be found in everyday life. It seemed like a risky choice, but Elizabeth saw its potential. She understood the underlying themes and the opportunity to create a character that was both funny and empowering. From the first twitch of her nose, that iconic gesture that became synonymous with Samantha's magic, audiences were spellbound. They were captivated by the show's clever writing, the talented cast, and of course, Elizabeth's undeniable star power. Elizabeth's comedic timing was impeccable. She had a natural ability to deliver a line with just the right amount of wit and charm, making audiences laugh week after week. Her charm, irresistible. She possessed a captivating presence that drew viewers in and made them feel like they were part of Samantha's world. Samantha was strong, yet vulnerable, a complex character who could handle any situation with grace and humor, but also showed moments of genuine emotion, magical, yet relatable. She was a witch, yes, but she also faced everyday challenges like any other wife and mother, making her all the more endearing to audiences. The show became a phenomenon, a cultural juggernaut that spawned merchandise, fan clubs, and countless imitations, catapulting Elizabeth to superstardom. She went from being a respected actress to a household name, recognized and adored by millions around the world. Suddenly, she was everywhere. Her face was plastered on billboards, magazine covers, and television screens. Magazine covers showcasing her beauty and talent, talk shows, where she charmed audiences with her wit and intelligence, award ceremonies. She was nominated for multiple Emmy Awards for her role as Samantha, solidifying her status as one of the leading actresses of her time. Elizabeth Montgomery was a household name. Her image and persona were deeply ingrained in the American consciousness, but fame came at a price. The relentless demands of stardom began to take their toll, the constant scrutiny, the ever-present paparazzi, and the invasion of her privacy. The pressure to maintain her image, it was a constant battle to balance her public persona with her private life. Behind the glamorous facade, Elizabeth was still searching for something more. She yearned for roles that challenged her as an actress and allowed her to explore different facets of her talent. Bewitched was more than just a sitcom, it was a reflection of the changing times. It was a cultural touchstone. It captured the imagination of a generation and continues to resonate with audiences today. It challenged societal norms with its depiction of a powerful woman. Samantha was a witch who chose to use her powers for good, often subverting the expectations of her time. Elizabeth, through her portrayal of Samantha, became a feminist icon. She embodied the spirit of the women's movement, inspiring women to embrace their own power and independence. Yet few knew the real woman behind the magical persona. The complexities, the struggles, and the passions that drove Elizabeth Montgomery, the actress and the woman. Fame, with all its glittering promises, couldn't erase Elizabeth's personal demons. The spotlight, while illuminating her talent, also cast long shadows, revealing the complexities she carried within. Behind her radiant smile, the one that captivated audiences and graced magazine covers, she battled insecurities. These weren't the fleeting doubts we all experience, but deep-seated anxieties that gnawed at her sense of self-worth. The pressure to live up to her family name, a legacy of Hollywood royalty, the relentless demands of fame, the constant scrutiny, and the sheer exhaustion of maintaining a public image, took a toll. It chipped away at her spirit, leaving her feeling drained and vulnerable. Elizabeth sought solace in her work, pouring herself into every role, hoping to find an escape from the pressures that surrounded her. Acting became her refuge, a place where she could lose herself in another character's skin. Family relationships were strained, burdened by unspoken expectations and the weight of history. The pressure of her lineage, the shadow cast by her father's considerable achievements, the constant comparisons to her father's legacy, the feeling of always being measured against his success, created a rift. It was a burden she carried throughout her life. Elizabeth craved his approval, yearned for his recognition, yet resented his influence, the way his career seemed to define her own path. Their relationship, a complex mix of love and resentment, a push and pull of affection and frustration, remained a source of pain, a wound that never fully healed. Despite her success, the adoration of millions, Elizabeth longed for genuine connection, for someone to see beyond the image and understand the woman beneath. She found it fleetingly in romantic relationships, moments of intense passion and connection that promised lasting happiness, but none seemed to last, each ending leaving her feeling more isolated and disillusioned. The demands of her career, the grueling hours and the constant travel, the constant public scrutiny, the relentless attention from the media, made it difficult to maintain a private life, to nurture meaningful relationships, or simply to find moments of peace and solitude. Behind the facade of the perfect sitcom wife, the charming Samantha Stephens who could conjure magic with a twitch of her nose, Elizabeth yearned for something more fulfilling, a life that resonated with her true self. Her struggles remained hidden from the public eye, carefully concealed beneath a veneer of glamour and success. Fans saw the glamorous star, the charming witch with a twinkle in her eye, the woman who seemed to have it all. They didn't see the vulnerability, the fragility that lay beneath the surface, the pain behind the smile, the quiet desperation that haunted her private moments. Elizabeth became a master at concealing her true self, perfecting the art of projecting an image that masked her inner turmoil, creating a persona that masked her inner turmoil, a carefully constructed facade that hid the complexities of her true being from the world. Elizabeth Montgomery, a name synonymous with talent, beauty, and the enchanting world of Bewitched, lived a life that captivated millions. But beyond the cameras and bright lights of Hollywood, Elizabeth's personal life, particularly her romantic relationships, was a complex and often turbulent journey. It was a whirlwind of passion and heartbreak. Her heart, full of love and longing, yearned for a connection that transcended the superficiality of fame. She craved deep connection, a soulmate who could understand her beyond the image projected on screen. She wanted someone to share her joys, her sorrows, and the quiet moments of everyday life. But her fame and demanding career, the very things that brought her recognition and success, often overshadowed her personal life, casting a long shadow on her quest for lasting love. The constant attention and the pressures of maintaining a public persona made it incredibly difficult to cultivate genuine relationships. Elizabeth searched for love, but found heartbreak instead. She married 4 times. But behind the smiles were infidelity rumors, emotional distance, longing for something more. Her first marriage to Frederick Cammon was brief and tumultuous, a fleeting chapter in her life story. It ultimately ended in divorce, leaving Elizabeth to navigate the complexities of love and loss in the public eye. She found love again, with actor Gig Young, but it was often fleeting, a spark that struggled to ignite into a lasting flame. The pressure of her celebrity status, the constant glare of the spotlight, the constant scrutiny of the public eye, the relentless pursuit by paparazzi, and the often untrue stories printed in tabloids, made it difficult to maintain lasting relationships, to nurture the kind of deep connection she so desperately desired. Her third husband, William Asher, who also directed Bewitched, was rumored to have cheated during their marriage. The show's success became a prison, trapping Elizabeth in a role while her heart quietly broke. Elizabeth longed for normalcy, for a life where she could simply be Elizabeth, not Elizabeth Montgomery, the star. She yearned for a love that could withstand the pressures, the constant demands, and the relentless attention of her extraordinary life, a life lived under the constant gaze of the world. Her relationships, though often passionate and intense, filled with moments of profound connection and shared joy, were often short-lived, unable to withstand the unique challenges of her life. The demands of her career, the long hours on set, the constant travel between filming locations and promotional events and public appearances, the endless cycle of premieres, interviews, and charity galas took their toll, leaving little time and energy for nurturing personal relationships. Elizabeth yearned for a partner, someone who understood the unique pressures she faced, who understood the demands of her profession, the sacrifices she had to make, and the constant balancing act between her public and private lives. Someone who could navigate with grace and understanding the unique challenges of loving a Hollywood icon, the constant attention, the relentless scrutiny, and the ever-present temptation of fame. Despite the heartache, the disappointments, and the fleeting nature of many of her relationships, Elizabeth remained hopeful, a testament to her resilient spirit and unwavering belief in the power of love. She believed in love, in its transformative power, in the power of genuine connection, of finding someone who truly saw and understood her. Her romantic journey, a tapestry woven with threads of passion, heartbreak, and unwavering hope, though often tumultuous, a roller coaster of emotions and experiences, revealed her capacity for deep affection, her ability to love with an open heart, and her unwavering belief, her steadfast conviction in the possibility of finding true love, a love that could last a lifetime. Off-screen, Elizabeth battles deep emotional scars. She longed for artistic recognition beyond the Samantha stereotype, but Hollywood kept casting her as the pretty blonde. She took roles in gritty dramas after Bewitched, hoping to escape her witchy past. But the shadow of Samantha followed her everywhere. In 1995, Elizabeth was diagnosed with colon cancer. She kept her diagnosis secret, even from many close friends. She passed away just 8 weeks after being diagnosed, at only 62 years old. There was no public farewell, just a quiet, sudden goodbye from the woman who gave so many of us joy. Coincidentally, her former lover Alexander Godunov was also found dead on the same day. Elizabeth may be gone, but her legacy lives on. She was more than a sitcom star. She was a complex, brave woman who tried to rise above the glitter of Hollywood and the ghosts of her past. She made the world laugh, even when her own heart was breaking. What's your favorite memory of Elizabeth Montgomery? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more Untold Hollywood legends.